are here at the old Matancherry Bridge, which was supposedly built back in 1940s by the British. It's one beautiful structure that decorates the skyline of Fort Kochi. That's in the background. What you see is the Wellington Island. These are the trawlers which have been parked since Christmas. And this is my good friend Rajshekhar here. Good morning and thanks for bringing me to such a beautiful place. Just in time to catch a beautiful sunrise, and I am really liking what I'm seeing. Now tell me something, Raj. You've been a resident of Kochi all your life.
Yes.
What are the most interesting places that you would be taking me today?
We are at the West Kochi, which is the old part of Kochi, which is where I was born and brought up. So we came to the grand old bridge for the sunrise, which was built in the British era, as Deepak sir said. And we will be moving towards a few historical sites in Fort Kochi, like the St. Francis Church, St. Basilica, Chinese fishing nets, Jewish synagogue, Jew Street, the Dutch Palace, which was the palace of the Cochin king, by the way. And of course, one little thing I would like to add is this bridge was the only bridge at that time that connected Fort Kochi to the mainland, which is first the Wellington Island, which was man-made island, and then to the city. All the other bridges that have come up are after that. So yeah, that's something interesting.
Well, that's a very, very exciting day for me, and I'm really looking forward to going around Kochi. I am loving Kochi, Azir. Here's some trivia about the synagogue and the Jew Street. Over to you, Raj.
So Jews, when they came here to settle down and they sought asylum with the Cochin king, they were not very comfortable with the place, as in they were feeling insecure. So the king, apparently it is said, had given them this street or asylum here, which falls right next to the palace. So you see the synagogue there right at the end with the bell in the sky, and the palace is just behind that. So in such a way that the king could actually see the synagogue when in his bedroom from the window. So it's a very interesting fact, because
from a safety perspective, he ensured the safety of the Jews seeking asylum.
So
lovely.
He did that for everybody, even the Konkanis who came from Goa during the Portuguese invasion to settle down here. So he was a guy who was open to diversity, and that's largely spoken about him even to the date. So this is a proof of it.
Lovely. And as we are here, one most interesting fact is the world's only pepper exchange. The Wall Street of pepper is here. Well, it's closed. We are so early in the day, and this has been inaugurated by the Ministry of Food back in 1961. This is amazing. You want to say something, Raj, here?
Yeah, so guys, you guys know pepper has been a part of
Vasco da Gama.
Kerala history. Exactly. So Vasco da Gama came here for that gold. It's called black gold, and surprisingly, we'll take you there. He was buried in Cochin, which not many people know, in a church called St. Francis Church, and then his remains were taken over by his ancestors or his people from his country. So yeah, black gold still lives alive in Kerala, in Kochi.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm at the harbor, and this is a very interesting type of fishing. This area is called the Chinese fishing net area, and the setup that I'm seeing here is, it's really a age-old type of catching fishes. Just have a look at this. They have these stones which have been suspended, and there's a net that is down there, and apparently there's fish that's gonna get into that net.
The Chinese fishing nets were said to be bought in by
the Chinese traders, huh?
The Chinese traders. Some say it's Zhang Ho or somebody in 1350 to 1440. But some say it's Kuber Khan's traders who bought it. So it's a kind of a debate. But these are part of Cochin, water line since those years. And what you see here are the authentic Chinese fishing nets made of wood rather than the steel ones that you see in backwaters now. So the concept of this is the net is lowered, and when the high tide or low tide is there, the fishes keep moving and they get trapped into the net, and then after some time it is lifted up to catch the fish, just like what they're doing right now. So it is a completely manual labor job, and the counterweight of the net is actually the stones which we saw coming down hanging.
Absolutely, yeah.
So without the counterweight, it is not easy, or it's impossible to lift this.
Lovely. Chinese nets done, and now at a place which is almost 50 years old. And here we are.
So that is Achuka, our very own Achuka of Kochi. And this shop, I've been coming here since I was born. It's very famous for black tea and the snacks that you get here and the breakfast. The breakfast is amazing. We come here, it's a local shop, so we used to come here after swimming on the beach.
Technically, food is awesome.
Local food at, very good taste is Achuka shop, especially in the morning. You get fish fry, mutton, chicken right at 7 o'clock, starting from 7 o'clock in the morning.
It is known fact that, most of the tea shops that we find are run by the Malayalis. Now, I was intrigued by Achuka's tea shop, which has thrived over 50 years. And what's the secret behind this guy having survived these 50 years? And it's kind of a monopoly the way I see it.
So basically the fact is Malayalis, they say Malayalis even have a tea stall on the moon. You can find a Malayali.
I'll have to ask Neil Armstrong.
Absolutely. So he would have had a tea there, the first tea on the moon, probably. So 50-60 years back, there was nothing around here, no tea stops here, and Chinese fishing nets were booming at that time, and there were a lot of laborers. So there was a little difficulty in finding food, breakfast and snacks early morning after the effort that they put in. It's a very labor-intense job, as Deepak sir saw. So at that time, this idea bloomed, and he was smart Malayali. He started a tea stall.
Absolutely.
Typical Malu tea stall, which has gone on to live for 50-60 years now.
So that's the secret of a thriving business. So if any of you guys think that, this is an idea that can be used in any of your areas, I think this is a classic jet-setting example. This has been in this place since 1724, I believe. So Raj, what's the trivia behind the Dutch cemetery?
So this is a part of the St. Francis Church. So the story goes that Vasco da Gama was buried in the church. The burial tomb is still there. Of course, his remains have been taken away. There are a lot of Dutch ancestral people who were buried here, and to date, there are people from Europe that trace their roots and come here to find their forefathers or their bloodline. And they have donated, funded, and supported the church in maintaining this place. Of course, there is no entry for people like us. It is a very much privately guarded property. But we got a glimpse of it.
Yes, absolutely. Very neatly done, very neatly maintained. We don't get this opportunity often to walk into the house of the legendary singer Mr. Yesudas. The St. Basilica's Church. St. Francis Church is one of the oldest European churches in Kerala. It is a major landmark on Fort Kochi, which was built in the 16th century AD. The arrival of Portuguese navigator Vasco da Gama in 1498, the Franciscans raised the present edifice in the name of St. Anthony in 1516 AD. The first Portuguese navigator Vasco da Gama's mortal remains was buried in the church. The east-facing church has an impressive frontage that reflects the typical Portuguese style. The Dutch made changes in name and structure of this church and did some major restoration works in 1779 AD. The length of this boat, it starts here.
Snake boat.
Goes all the way deep here. Wow, it's huge. And it actually goes into the other chamber as well. Wow, and it ends here. This is awesome. Goes all the way. Johnny and Sunny Malayal of Cochin made the biggest Varpu of Uruli cooking vessel, 12 feet dia, 3184 kilograms in single cast. Raj, thanks for your time. We've really enjoyed. So anything that you'd like to say that we've missed, and probably I definitely know that we need to spend more time, but what is it that as an absolute local, you've been kind enough to show me your own backyard, and it's been a fabulous day.
Yeah, so we did what we could do with the fair amount of time that we had in the morning, but I would still say, as I told Deepak sir, this is the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to explore. There's a lot more to explore in terms of food, because we did not go to that side.
Oh, that I have the whole day with me today.
Yes, so there's a lot more to explore with food. There are a lot more places to see around, which is not, a day is not enough. But yes, we had a packed morning. I'm pretty sure that Deepak sir is tired as well, but we enjoyed a lot.
No, I'm not.
So his day is just beginning. So
yeah.
we had a good look around, and even though it's Corona, we got good opportunities to visit and see all these places. So cheers to the rest of the day.
Thank Raj for taking time out and showing me what needs to be seen, and it's been a fabulous morning. the rest of the day also looks good. Thank you.